Jai Jagannath, Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Krishna. Here we are. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 16. In this chapter, Krishna is starting to explain how to meditate on God. We want to meditate on God. This is the best, the best way to meditate, which is presented by Krishna himself. So verse 16 is also, it's a very nice verse that is applied to, especially to the Karma Kanda or Purva Mimamsa section of the Vedic scriptures, and shows that it is not bad to engage in the traditional ritual worship, the traditional religious duties of the Varnashram Dharma. So the verse says, Aham kratur aham yagya, swadaham aham oshadham, mantroham aham mevajyam, aham Agnir Aham Hutam. I am the Kratu. Kratu is the Vedic ritual. I am the Yagya, means the sacred action. I am the Swadha. Swadha is the offering to the Pitris. I am the Oshadha. The Oshadha is the medicinal herb, the sacred herbs that are the medicine, that is offered in the fire, or as the Soma Yagya, which is not including the fire, but is the offering of the Somalata, basically. I am the mantra, I am the clarified butter in the Agnihotra. I am the fire, and I am the act of offering. The hutam is the offering itself. The ahuti is the oblation. Okay. So, in this new series of visualizations, Krishna gives us plenty to meditate about. Okay. Then we go to the second verse in the list. Okay, sorry. Okay. 17. I am the father of this world. I am the mother, the supporter, the grandfather. I am the object of knowledge. I am the source of purification. I am the Omkara. I am the Rig, the Sama, and the Yajur Vedas. Specifically here, when Krishna is talking about the material universe, the father is Shiva, the mother is Shakti, and the grandfather is Brahma, Prajapati, Pitamaha. Okay. Then Vidyam, Pavitram, Omkara, Riksama Yajurivacha. So only 3 of the 4 Vedas that are directly connected to the Karma Kanda rituals. The Atharva Veda is the origin of the Tantric knowledge. It doesn't contain the riks, the hymns, but some other mantras. Okay. Then we have 18. I am the destination, the nourisher, the Lord, the witness, the abode, the shelter, the friend. I am the origin, the end, the foundation, the resting place, and the seed that never perishes. Gati Bharta, Prabhu, Sakshi, Nivasa, Saranam, Sharanam, Surit, Prabhava, Pralaya, Sthanam, Nidhanam, Bijam, Savyayam. This verse is very interesting, for the purpose of actually understanding God. We shouldn't forget it, because it gives us the actual scope of the transcendence. Otherwise, people think that Krishna or Vishnu are individual personalities only, like just people like us, only more powerful. That's not a fact. Okay, then we have 19. I am the origin of the heat of the sun. I pour down or withhold the rains. I am immortality and death as well. I am Sat and Asat too, O Arjuna. Is this clear? You have any questions? Because these are very intense verses.
I'm just listening, like what all Krishna is telling, trying to
Okay,
meditate on
okay,
those things. That Asat also is him.
okay, okay. Okay, no problem, no problem. But you can see, people who are not, who don't have an actual knowledge, they see here, I pour down or withhold the rain, think, oh, but that is Indra, that's not Vishnu, that's not Krishna. Krishna is another god. Yeah, okay, not true. Okay. And 20. Those who know the three Vedas, who drink the somarasa, and who are purified from all wrongs through the acts of sacrifice, worshipping me in this way, pray to attain Svarga. After reaching the pious planets of the king of the Suras, Indra, in heaven, they enjoy the celestial pleasures of the devas. Okay. So, Krishna is again repeating that the yagyas, the karmakanda yagyas, that are focused on the worship of the devas, are actually worshipping Vishnu or Krishna. They're not separate. The devas are not separate from Vishnu or Krishna. Okay. 21. After a long time spent in the enjoyment of Svargaloka, those who have exhausted their virtuous merits fall down again to the level of mortals. In this way, following strictly the path of the three dharmas, they develop a lust for desires and they continue to take birth and die. So this desire, kama, those who desire to have desires. Tetam bhuktva svargalokam vishalam kshine punye martyalokam vishanti evam trai dharmanam uprapanna. Okay. Trai dharmanam anuprapanna. Oh, sorry. Anuprapanna. Okay. Gata gatam kama kama labhante. Okay. Uh, 22. Ananyas chintayantamam ye janag paripasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Those who are interested only in me and my worship are always favorably engaged. I personally carry what they need. This means that we still worship the devas, we still do our duty to help support the material universe and human society, But what we really need is a special help from Ishvara, from Bhagavan, to become detached from the material identifications, desires, attachments, and so on. This is what actually Krishna is carrying for us. Okay. 23. Yeah, 23. O Arjuna, those devotees who worship the devas separately with that faith are actually worshipping me only, but they are acting in a way that is not in accordance with the proper knowledge. This means that the devotees should worship the devas but not separately. Because the devas are the limbs, the body, the material body of God, of the Virat Rupa. So Virat Rupa is Vishnu. So people who are worshipping, those who are worshipping the devas, should always remember that the devas are parts of Vishnu. They're not separate. It's not like, you have different shops. In one shop you go and buy vegetables. In another shop you buy the cement. In another shop you buy the milk. Everything is Vishnu. All the devas are parts of Vishnu's body. So we worship the devas to cooperate with them, but with the knowledge, the understanding, the perception, the realization that the devas are just the parts of the material body of Vishnu. Everything is clear, huh? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. 24. Aham mi sarvaya jnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha na tu mama bhijananti tatvena tatvena ta chavanti. Chavanti de. Chavanti is the same root of achyuta. Chavanti means to fall down. Okay. They fall down. Achyuta means never falling down. Okay. So translation. I am the Lord and beneficiary of all yajnas. Those who do not understand my tattva will have to take birth again. Yeah, because you don't understand the purpose of the entire thing. Okay. 25. Those who dedicate themselves to the worship of the devas will go to the devas. Those who worship the pitris will go to the pitris. Those who worship the ghosts and other beings will join them. In the same way, those who sacrifice for me will come to me. Because of association. We develop the desires. 26. If someone with sincere love and devotion offers me even one leaf, one flower, one fruit, or some water, I will accept the offering because of that love and devotion. Patram pushpam palam toyam yame bhaktya priyachati tadaham bhakti paritam asnami priyatatmana. Okay. So we don't need to make big stories, big pujas. Just the bhakti. 27. O Arjuna, whatever you do, whatever
One
you...
thing,
Sorry, tell.
yeah. In one of the Seva Aprats in the Rupa Goswami's work, he mentions that having capability of doing elaborate worship, but due to miserness, if somebody doesn't do this is
Yeah,
this is Aprat. So
yeah, yeah,
how to
yeah. Well, having the possibility is the key point, because it's not just the possibility of money. It's also the possibility of time, the possibility of effort, and so on. So if in fact, it's not the complication of the offering that you should do, but it's the love and devotion. So if you have actual love and devotion, you want to offer the best. So whatever best you can do, but you cannot do more than what you are able to, because if you do that, you'll not be able to keep it going long enough. Susukam kartum avyayam. If your sadhana is not comfortable, it will not last. It is not going to be permanent and consistent. Because at some point the weight will be too much. It's just like, physical exercise. It's okay to have a brisk walk every day, if you can manage. 5-10 minutes walk, instead of always taking a vehicle to go around. You can have a nice, pleasant walk. The key is that it should be comfortable. If you think that, I can walk 5 kilometers, then okay, yeah, I will, because I can walk for 5 kilometers, I will walk 5 kilometers every day. How long are you going to keep it up? Not long. And if you make an extra effort to keep it up, you know what will happen? The subconscious will develop resentment. And then at some point, instead of developing more love and devotion, you'll become hostile to God. Because you think you're suffering so much. You're putting so much effort and God is not giving back your money's worth. You see how it works. So, of course, if you can manage, if you can afford more, you can offer more. Why not? But what is the meaning that you can afford? It's not just, because you can buy sweets every day, you have to offer sweets every day. Who's going to eat the prasad? What, are you going to offer it to Krishna and then throw it in the garbage? No, it's not a good idea. So if you can manage, that means not only you have the money to buy the sweets or to make the sweets, but you also have the time and the opportunity to make a good offering, nice offering, and then distribute the sweets to the people who will appreciate them. And that's not the same thing of just buying the sweets. It requires more work. Is this clear enough? Yeah.
Yes.
And also, you can offer all your food to Krishna, but it doesn't need to be through a complicated ritual. You don't need to get a special silver plate and make a specific number of offerings, preparations on the plate at the precise time, and ring the bell, do the purification, the nyasa, the achaman, and the arti. Then, I in a period of my life when I was living in a temple, I was often cooking for the deities, of the temple. And we had, if I remember correctly, we had 8 bhoga offerings every day. at a very specific time. And the Raj Bhog, the midday offering, the lunch offering, had, I think, 12 or 14 different preparations. And in three plates, because there were three deities, three vigrahas, three personalities of God, in the temple. And it was a job. Some of these days when everybody else was having other things to do, so I was cooking for the deities all day. I started 3:30 a.m. because the first offering was the Mangal Bhog, 4 o'clock a.m. 4 a.m. before the Mangal Arati. And I, left the kitchen from 3:30 in the morning to 10 p.m. in the night. I left the kitchen at 10 p.m. in the night. And I only had one very short interval from lunch to afternoon bhoga. The lunch was cooked by 12, and the afternoon bhoga had to be in by 3:30 p.m. So I only had maybe 1 or 2 hours. I could leave the kitchen, maybe go to the bathroom, eat something, take a shower, get fresh clothes, and go back to the kitchen. Can you do that? For how long? Huh? I couldn't do that forever, So the temple could afford it, but who will do it? And can you do it with the same love and devotion all the time without becoming mechanical and over concerned about the standards? So we should not be terrorized by the idea of offenses, because Krishna doesn't say that. This is the Rupa Goswami, it is not Krishna talking. There is a difference between Shruti and Smriti. Smriti is something that is giving some general indications. They're not the absolute truth, they're not Shastra. They call them Bhakti Shastra, but they're really not Shastra. They're not in the same level of Shruti. They are indications. Even Krishna in Gita, which is a Shruti, officially because it's called Gita Upanishad, is not giving precise requirements. The actual real requirements are very simple. If you do too much, we have to ask ourselves why we're doing too much. Out of fear? Out of ego? Out of what? Out of love and devotion? Well, love and devotion, you can even offer the food mentally. You can even offer arati mentally. Manasa puja. God doesn't need our food. We need to develop a loving relationship with God. That's a different thing. So when we do worship, any form of worship, starting from, the bhoga offering and whatever, that should be done not as a duty in itself, but as a means to the end of developing more love and devotion to God, to Bhagavan. So this is why Krishna mentioned the Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, and now he's mentioning whatever you do, Yad Karoshi Yad Dasnasi Yad Juhosi Dadasi Yad. It's not saying, 8 bhoga offerings a day. Whatever you eat, you know, even if you don't go around with the ringing the bell and with the special mantras, you just make a little, a moment of meditation and, be conscious, be aware that what you eat is an offering to God. Like you heard about the Sundarya Lahari.
Yes.
There is the beautiful prayer, that Adi Shankar writes. And he says, "May every morsel of food that I eat be an oblation into your sacred fire." So there are different levels of rituals. In fact, the external rituals should come only after the internal ritual. The Antar Yagya and Bahar Yagya. The Antar Yagya is the internal Yagya and the Bahir Yagya is the external Yagya. And that is something that brahmacharis and grihastas are supposed to do. To, keep the conscious and the awareness of connecting their material desires to a higher consciousness. But the Vanaprastha is not doing all these, rituals. And the sannyasi even less. Sannyasi doesn't even start the fire actually, doesn't even cook, doesn't even have deities. Sannyasi is just going around according to the Varnashrama system, should only possess one kamandalu and one danda. Not even shoes. Not even umbrella. So how is he going to do all the complicated puja with all the paraphernalia and everything? Sannyasi cannot do that. So, because the worship becomes more internalized. It becomes more of a manasa puja. And we know manasa puja is exactly as valid as the external puja, and even more valid, because you are actually obliged to pay more attention, because otherwise you'll forget. The external puja can be mechanical. The manasa puja can never be mechanical, because you cannot think about something else. Mechanical means you go through the motions and you think about something else. But if you do manasa puja, how are you going to think about something else? It's not going to work. Is that clarifying the issue? Of course, if you have the possibility, you should do as much as possible, for Krishna. But, rather than a big feast of bhoga every day, Krishna is happier if you help, if your service is actually serving his mission better. Paritramaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna doesn't come sambhavami yuge yuge to eat more food. That's Jagannath in Puri, but that's the temple. It's not that Krishna's main purpose is to eat more. Bring me 15 preparations. Yeah, better. 20 is even better. That's not what Krishna wants. Krishna wants patram, pushpam, palam toyam, but bhakti. Bhakti. So whatever Krishna is asking, we should be ready to do. If Krishna is asking you for water, why you want to give the milk? Krishna is asking you for water. You know, so true. We shouldn't be misers. We shouldn't try to cheat Krishna and to be cheap with Krishna. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that we have to be complicated. I don't know. Is that was I able to clarify a little bit?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. The doubt is dispelled. So this is important. Yad karoshi yadas nasi yad juhosi dodasi yad. Madarpanam. Mad arpanam. For me. For my sake. Okay. Okay. 28. Arjuna, by engaging in the sannyasa yoga, the principle of renunciation, you will become free from the bondage of activities and from the favorable and unfavorable results of actions. Thus you will attain me. Krishna is not saying that if you do, complicated things, you will attain me. No, no. The principle of renunciation, simple living, high thinking. You heard that before, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Okay. 29. I am equally disposed towards all living beings. I do not hate anyone, and I do not favor anyone. Yet, when someone offers me a sincere service in devotion, they are in me and I am in them. So, in this verse, there is, Krishna clearly says there is no chosen people. And there is no one that God hates. We have some other religions say, oh, God hates, I don't know, homosexuals. Like one example. No, that's not true. That's not true. When say God hates white people, black people, yellow people, red people, whatever. No, God does not. The only thing, God doesn't favor anyone, any people, any, material identification. But when we offer God a sincere service, sincere in devotion, not fabricated thing that we think that God wants. No, what actually God wants is devotion. We have to devote ourselves, not try to devote others, because, others will have their own relationship with God. So when we actually develop a personal relationship with God, then we have a special channel. We are, God is our friend. We don't have to swear allegiance, but we are constantly in the company of God. We learn to understand God better. Okay. So, we remember God. That's the basic point. Okay. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Okay. Then we have 30. When a person is fully immersed and engaged in true devotional service, without any other concern or desire, must be considered a sadhu, even if he shows a very bad behavior. This is because his position is completely different. This is a very interesting verse, very famous, and very often misused. Api chetsu duracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak. Sadhur eva samantavyaha. Samyak vyavastitho isaha. When a person is bhajate, is actually offering sincere service. Because bhajan doesn't mean mechanical worship, doesn't mean sectarian allegiance. It means serving, real, sincere service. Mam, Ananya Bhak, without any other interest, attachment, concern. So there is no other concern about one's personal benefit, either individual or collective. Means, there is no concern about the benefit of the sampradaya or the mat or the nation or the group or what family or whatever. Ananya Bhak, just offering service to God. This is our only purpose. So, api chet sudurachara. If sudurachara, this very bad behavior doesn't mean that someone is behaving in a dharmic manner. It means that he is not following the social etiquette. Maybe he's like an avaduta. Someone who's eating whatever happens to be available, or doesn't observe any dress code, or doesn't fall on the floor to offer pranam to this and that and the other thing. Does maybe swearing a bit, or not caring for the elders, or not caring for the government, or, that's a bad behavior, because naughty boy, naughty people. Yeah, but it's not, doesn't mean being criminal. Like there is this other verse that people should remember. Antagatam papam punyanam, karmanam. Only when we have put an end to all the criminal activities, and we are only working in punya, in dharma. In dharma means with compassion, with honesty, with purity of intent, then we can say that we are engaged in bhajan. Because otherwise, if we are still committing criminal activities, what we think is service to God is not service to God. It's service to our own ego, personal ego, or collective ego. And that's not a sadhu. Sadhu is someone who is behaving according to dharma. So if someone is not behaving according to dharma, that's not a sadhu. Because, this is the main thing. So the very bad behavior is achara, not following the rules. The achara is the rules.
One point here.
Yeah.
How can somebody behave badly if he's doing bhajan with Ananya without any.
Exactly. It's just like a naughty boy, like Krishna was playing with the monkeys and breaking doing pranks, doing, making jokes, or, not being very well behaved, because this achara is basically following the rules. So at some point, when you have developed a sincere attachment for Krishna, you don't care about the rules. Like for example, let's say a sannyasi who has taken sannyas, and joking and associating, having some some banters and jokes, laughing together with women. you know, that is considered duracharo, right? Bad behavior. Why are you doing that? Brahmachari or sannyasi who is actually, associating with women. That's the bad behavior, right?
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that this bad behavior has bad motivations. Because that person is probably, behaving in a very innocent manner, a bad behavior, but innocently. You cannot really say, Of course, if, he's going around raping women and assaulting women, that's a different thing. That's not a bad behavior. That's a crime. There's a difference between bad behavior and criminal behavior. Bad behavior is, you're hungry, you're going to steal some food. That's bad behavior. You're not supposed to eat. Like, for example, let's say, you are cooking for the deities, and then, someone comes and steals the food that is supposed to be offered to the deity. That's very bad behavior. Why are you doing that? Right? But it's not criminal.
Yeah.
You're not causing suffering to anyone. Maybe you are annoying the cook, you are annoying the pujari, but it's not a criminal behavior. It's just bad behavior, and like, don't do that. You can punish that person, but that doesn't mean that it's not a sadhu. Sometimes I've known a lot of sadhus, and some of them are, have a big sense of humor, Okay, another example. You heard about the Aghoris.
Yes.
Okay, haha. The Aghoris are a very good example of very bad behavior. Still, they're sadhus. Because it's not that they're killing people to eat their brain. They're not zombies, But they live in the smashan, and to show that they are very detached, they will cook their eyes inside the skull. That's very bad behavior. You don't allow your children to do that, right? But how is that criminal? It didn't kill anyone. You see the difference?
Yeah.
Because still they're sadhus. They're doing very weird stuff. They have very bad behavior. But they're doing that to throw, to shake people out of complacency. Like it said, to disturb the comfortable and to comfort the disturbed. It's the same thing. Because when people become too attached to the, formally good behavior, they're losing the point. They're losing the most important thing. So if a child is very hungry, then they starve the child because the child has not washed his hands for eating. How is that? Is that good? Is that sadhu? No. If a child is very hungry, starving, living in the street, you're going to give the food anyway, whether he has washed his hands or not. Don't care for very bad behavior. You don't encourage it, of course, but you don't. You're not shocked or disturbed by the bad behavior of people, because it's all a leela, it's all a joke. Come on, having some sense of humor. You understand? But that should be actual bhajate, ananya bhakt. This means that someone who is worshipping Krishna but creating suffering to the parts of Krishna, like the children of Krishna, like all the living beings, or the other devotees of Krishna, that's not real, bhajan. That's not real devotional service. How can you call it devotional service then? You worship the father and kill the children. Without really any need, just because you're envious, or you want to establish that you're a better child in the family. How is the father going to be happy about that? So that's not the true devotional service. True devotional service is according to the instructions of Krishna, is based on the transcendental mentality, the transcendental realization, where you see Paramatma in all beings, Vidya Vinaya Sampane, Brahmane Gavihasini, Suni Chaiva Swapakicha. Otherwise, but what devotional service is that? You take a mental projection, a fantasy, a fabrication of your mind, you paint it blue and you put a peacock feather on the head and a flute in the hands, and you think that's Krishna. It's not. That is not Krishna. Is that clearer?
Yes.
Okay. Okie dokie. Here, that's it. That's the point. You see, even if someone has a weird behavior and sometimes a bad sense of humor, or sometimes gross, sometimes due to some previous bad habits, but Krishna is saying, my devotee quickly becomes fully dedicated to dharma. Dharmatma. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. It becomes the very personification of dharma. So, not only he was not committing any crime, but he becomes perfectly dharmic. Okay, maybe some jokes, maybe he will also stop doing stupid jokes. And attains a permanent peace. The son of Kunti, you can safely say that my devotee is never destroyed. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. Never destroyed, never fails, is never vanquished. Okay, 32. Arjuna, those who have completely taken shelter in me will attain the supreme destination, even if they were born from impure intercourse, women, business people and traders, or manual workers. This is another verse that has to be understood really carefully, because sometimes it has been translated badly, So, like, some translators had connected the papayonaya striya, so, saying that women are papayoni. That's not a fact. Papayonaya is a different category from striya. Just like striya is a different category from vaishya, a different category from Sudra. So here Krishna is listing different categories that are not very brilliant from the religious perspective of perfect achara, perfect behavior, And the first one, the best of the bunch, are simply born without the proper purification. Papayonaya means from impure sexual intercourse. It means without the Garbhadhana samskar. Without all the samskaras. So today practically everybody is Papayonaya. If you go and ask people, even from Brahmin family, highest Brahmin family, were you conceived through the Garbhadhana samskar? I don't think you'll find anyone. Then the women are usually women as the category of people who have that mentality, not the anatomy. Krishna here is, as in all the Vedic tradition, Krishna is talking about the level of consciousness. Like, for example, the Vedas say, Vedic tradition says, there are 4 lakhs of human species. Okay, these 4 lakhs of human species are not different DNA, are different levels of consciousness. So the definition of Striya sometimes can be also applied, for example, to male gay people who have the characteristic mentality of ordinary women who are more interested in children, nice house, nice dress, nice ornaments, nice food, and very comfortable luxury life and social life and everything. These are the characteristic of ordinary women. Of course, not all women are ordinary women, So we have to be very careful not to identify people through the bodily identification, appearance, but we have to understand that the identification of the categories here is about the level of consciousness, the guna and karma. Just like we cannot determine if someone is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra simply by the body. The body was born in a family of Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, but that is not the real evidence. Because someone who was born in a family of Brahmanas, we can see every day, they might be totally non-qualified to be Brahmanas. Therefore, they are called Brahmabandhus, relatives of a Brahmana. And same for the Kshatriya, Kshatrabandhus. Then less qualified than ordinary women are the Vaishyas. The Vaishyas are always thinking about material gain. Not just for themselves, for society in general, but they are usually thinking in material terms because they work with the material resources. Then even less qualified than Vaishyas are the Shudras, because the Shudras don't even have the capabilities of the Vaishyas. So I have explained here in the commentary, so you can read that, individually and see what the situation is. Okay, so let's go for 33 and then maybe we can stop here. Okay, yeah. 33 is connected to 32 very, very closely. 33 says, what to speak of the Brahmanas, the virtuous devotees, and the saintly kings, who are rich in religious merits and devotion, and who are immersed in a service of devotion to me, even in this impermanent and unsatisfactory world. Kim punar brahmana punya bhakta rajarsha stata. Anityam asukam lokamimam prapya bhajasa mam. So, yeah, less qualified categories before, and these are more qualified categories here. The Brahmanas are not those who were just born in a Brahmin family, those who actually are qualified as Brahmanas. And the saintly king, the Rajarshi. Okay. Okay, so I think that we can stop at 33 because the next verse is a general instruction. So we can start from here next time. Everything is clear?
Yes.
Any question?
No.
Not really. Okay, so
Yes.
I think we can stop and I'll let you go on with your work or rest or whatever. So thank you so much for participating.
Thank you for your time.
We'll go next time. We can keep in touch by WhatsApp.
Sure.
Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath.